So I have planned a main entrance with my mask on and creating that suspense but this is live. Anything anything could happen, so that didn't work. But I just wanted to say that I have this is a N95 mask. Um, I have a KN95 mask as well. I also have a disposable mask just in case I need it, because per authorities we are told to use mask every time we go out. And yeah, that is the reality. That is the reality. I just sometimes I feel that this is gonna be something that will never end, but it should end. Do you guys think that we're gonna be set free and wear masks as we wear underwear every day? Do you guys think that that's gonna be the new normal? I don't know, and I really don't wanna think about that right now, because that's not the topic anyway. I don't know when. So since I'm not going anywhere, I'm not gonna need the mask. So let's get to this. My name is Ida Laura, and today is April 30 of the unforgettable year 2020, and this is my first live on Instagram. We will talk about millennials in design during COVID-19 and post COVID-19. Most of you know me on a personal level. I see some of my friends and colleagues, and others know me in a professional level, but not all of you know what I've been up to the last 10 years of my life. So I'm just gonna give you a quick summary of what I've been up to and for you to get to know me a little bit more. So I started my design path as studying architecture in Pontificia Universidad Católica Madre y Maestra in a small city, Santiago, in Dominican Republic. After this, in 2012, I moved to Miami to pursue my dream of doing my master's degree in interior architecture. I started studying English in FIU, in the English school of FIU, and then shortly after that, I joined the Faculty of Architecture on my master's in interior architecture and cruise ship yacht design certificate. While studying my master's, I had the opportunity to work with a small engineering and construction company. I was doing architecture, and when I graduated, I was fortunate enough to get a job at AECOM, that is a worldwide construction, architectural, and design firm. I was mainly doing hospitality and educational projects, and also a little bit of commercial design. And around 2017, I started teaching in the Miami International School of Art and Design in Miami. I was teaching professional development, design studio, even history of architecture. I know that was tough. And I was there. I was an adjunct professor for around 2 years and a half. I think it was 2 years and a half. And then 11 months ago, I started my path in the most exciting job that I ever had. That is as working for Royal Caribbean as an architectural associate for the new build department. And that's a summary of who I am professionally. And so now that you know more about me, let's get to business. So, design and COVID-19, so exciting for this. By the way, I have my puppy on my toes right now, so this is live. And so the last couple weeks, I've been receiving emails, messages, calls from former students that now are my colleagues, and vendors that are my friends, and people that I used to work with in other companies, and asking me if I know people that are hiring, if I know, checking on me, and asking me what do I think about this pandemic, why, what can we do while this pandemic is on. So I felt like I had to speak out. I felt that like a little voice inside my head saying, Aida, you need to speak out. Stop the fear and go ahead, do it. You can do this. So that's why I'm here. I decided to do this live on Instagram and talk to all of you about this very trendy topic right now. I have my cheat sheet here, so I'm gonna tell you what had happened during these last 4 to 6 weeks in design during this pandemic. A very high percentage of interior designers have been laid off, especially on those medium-sized design firms and big renowned design firms. So high percentage of layoff, you cannot imagine. A lot of designers have had salary percentage cuts and hours cut as well. Some designers are working from home, like me. I'm working from home, and I have to be a teacher for my toddler. I am doing housekeeping. I am a technical IT guy when I have something happening to my computer and I cannot get into the server. I am a nanny, and I do everything. So it's not only working from home. I'm a cook too, so don't forget about that. And a lot of constructions have been canceled, and canceled like forever, and postponed for 2, 3, 4 years. So this is real. Senior students that were ready to begin their first job, hire with papers, everything, or begin their first internship during the summer, gone, canceled. No job, no internship. Studies abroad, cancel as well, and I don't have to tell you why. We're stuck at home. Graduation ceremonies, cancel, now via Zoom, and we all know how exciting are those Zoom meetings. So yeah. And I know that this is a lot to take on such a short time, and it's a lot. I mean, we are working from home, we are doing all these things, and I think that one or two of the ones that I mentioned should be applicable to you, and due to this pandemic. And you know that some mornings when my alarm goes off, I imagine that this is just like a bad dream, that I just woke up. But then I get dressed and I walk to the living room, to my office, and I realize that this is real, that we are in quarantine and this is really happening. So yeah. Let me tell you, are you in the group that are working from home? I'll tell you what you are doing right now. That's the group I am. I'm part of. So every night, your ears hurt because of all the Zoom meetings. That's my puppy. Because of all the Zoom meetings that you've had during the day, I experience that every single day. And you're actually working 10 to 12 hours daily, or some of you are working only half, but of course you are told to only report 8 hours. So you live alone and you haven't had a one-on-one conversation in 4 to 6 weeks, and you are that is driving you crazy. You have a husband, a dog, 2 to 3 kids, and I don't need to tell you what you are doing, right? You know what you're doing. You are receiving 4 to 6 CU's email per week, and you are attending none, right? None. You live in your pajamas and you put a jacket or blazer on when Zoom meetings are, when the camera is required in a WebEx or a Zoom meeting. And, if my boss is connected, I've done it, I've been there. So you always see me with the same jacket. I have a hoodie under, I've done it. And am I the only one who needs a plotter? Am I the only one who needs 3 more screens? Well, yeah, don't tell me. So yeah, this is a lot to take. It's a lot. We are trying to survive. We are doing as best as we can, and trying to be positive on, that this is gonna come to an end sooner than later. So these too shall pass, and hands-on, those that are working from home. Now, what if you are in the group that got laid off? Let's talk about that now. What are you doing? Tell me, I want to know, what are you doing? Sleeping? Playing with the puppy? Watching Netflix? Well, yeah, playing with the puppy? Maybe? Every single day? Sounds like fun, right? But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something positive about COVID-19. That is temporary, and it's gonna end. And it's up to you, how you come out of this pandemic. And it's okay to feel that you don't want to do, don't want to do anything, to feel overwhelmed, to feel discouraged. Some days it's okay, some days, but not every day. So next, what I'll do is I'm gonna share 5 things that you could be doing during this quarantine, during this pandemic, and no pressure, right? Because again, it's on you how you're gonna come out of this pandemic. For sure, I promise that you're not gonna come out of this pandemic as the same person. You're either gonna come out better or worse, but not the same. For sure, I promise you that. So going back to the 5 things, right? So the first one, take notes. This is the time, take notes. Reach out to your former professors, right? Because, we're millennials, so we graduated what? 7, 5? Some of us, if you did a master's degree 3, 4 years ago, or less than 10 years. So less than 10 years ago, you graduated, for sure. So reach out to former professors, former co-workers, because maybe that was not your first job that you got laid off, your former boss, your vendors, people from the design community, professional organizations, IIDA, ASID, maybe another organization that is applicable in your country, in overseas, wherever you are. So reach out, ask them how they are doing, start conversations. And this is the time when you need the design community the most. And I always gonna remember something that a mentor of mine told me, that is not who you are. You can be the most intelligent, the most prepared, the most famous designer, the most famous architect. You have done so many projects. If you know nobody, forget about it. So it's not about who you are, it's about who you know. So the more people with the more people you engage, the more people you contact, the better possibilities for you to find new opportunities faster. And again, you're not alone. This is a global situation. All the industries are are going through this, and the more you talk about it, the better you feel faster. And again, maybe somebody has an opportunity, and you're the right person. So start conversations. The second thing, again, take notes, will be repeat to yourself. And a professional doesn't decrease because an individual decided to put me on the layoff list. Now you're gonna inhale, exhale, and repeat to yourself. The value of me as a person and a professional doesn't decrease because an individual decided to add you or put you in the layoff list. That was number 2. Number 3, do something that you have been wanting to do for a long time. Just one thing. I'm not asking you to do magic. I'm just saying just one thing. Yoga, you can exercise, baking, maybe calling a childhood friend. Can you believe I'm having Zoom meetings with my childhood, with my high school friends on Fridays? That's what I'm doing, yeah. So call a childhood friend and or organize your closet. Just one thing, one thing. Number 4, read. Yeah, read. That's it, read. Okay. About design, or perhaps another topic that catch your attentions, like business, personal finances, environmental psychology, graphic design, color theory, etc. And if you're not a reader, that's fine. Don't say, oh, in this quarantine I'm gonna read 5 books. And I mean, you can also read Harry Potter, so don't get me wrong, anything, but read one book. So if you're not a reader, just set a goal that you're gonna, in a month, you're gonna read one book, any. Ask for a recommendation. DM me or send me an email. My email is on my profile, and ask me which book I will recommend, and I'm gonna recommend you a book. So that. Number 5, and this number 5 I think is the most important one, because this is about staying connected, networking. That's number 5. And number 5 had 5 subcategories as well. So while when I say that stay connected, I mean that you need to put yourself out there, right? Remember, you got laid off. Everybody, 24 millions of Americans are without job. Are you the only one? No. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and create your LinkedIn profile. Do you have a LinkedIn profile? Well, if you don't, first homework, create a LinkedIn profile. This is time to see and actually update your resume, your portfolio, because you still have those projects from Design 1 back from 2013. So this is the time to update that, improve your portfolio, and start thinking what kind of jobs an interior designer could be good at. Just start brainstorming and doing a little research, and maybe, again, being connected and asking people. So the 5 subcategories that I was talking about. The first one, I'm gonna tell you how you can stay connected, how you can still be doing profit while stuck at home, or maybe as a new business. And I'm gonna call it A. So A, online design consultation. Woohoo! Have you thought about it? Well, okay, so if you're a residential designer, I have plenty friends that are doing that. This might be a good thing for you, and you can try that. And let me explain you how that works. So you call the client, or you talk via email, or one of my Zoom meeting again, or WebEx meeting, and you tell the client to take pictures of the space, measure, like, basic measurements, horizontal, vertical measurements, take a video of the space and send you that. Then when you have all that information, you meet the client again via Zoom or by phone if you cannot go in person because we're still in quarantine, and you get the brief, you get the feel of what that client wants, what is what are the wishes of that client, and you get to work. So you work on your own time, and you provide that client with a set of documents, and that's it. And you charge your fees per hour or per package. And that was, contactless and with clients anywhere in the world. So easy, right? Sounds easy, but just to do it, I don't think it's that easy, but you can do it. I just told you the idea, and I told you the business. B, right? Let's call this one B, the subcategory of staying connected. Decor furniture stores. So eventually these stores are gonna get back to business, and these are good alternative if you cannot quickly find a job, because you'll get familiar with brands, but furniture brands that you probably never seen before. You're gonna start having conversations with clients, getting feedback of new trends and all that. Worst that can happen is that you're gonna spend your entire paycheck on redecorating your home. That's the worst that can happen. And so C, subcategory C, for furniture dealers. So new design trends will arise after the pandemic, and for sure the furniture dealers will have to adapt to it and provide the best solutions to the clients. And designers are always needed in these type of businesses. So reach out again, send me an email if you know nobody. I know plenty of furniture dealers, and let's start the conversation. Subcategory D, fabric, flooring, carpet, brand reps. Usually these positions are for business background, and these are preferred because of the knowledge on how to do business and talk to people. And but I think that after this pandemic, more designers that know the business from the root will be welcome to those positions, to those open positions. And so you can expand your possibilities by doing business with flooring, with carpet, fabric, anything. E, this is subcategory E, a study. And wait, I'm not telling you to go back to school and get another degree, and no, don't go back to school. Well, if you want to go back to school, but this is not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that there are a lot of fast-paced programs, short courses, certificates, certifications, seminars, and on different topics that now you can find it for free, and of course online. So do your research. I'm sure you can find, if you want to do the LEED certificate, so start doing a prep for LEED certification. If you want to take your NCIDQ, so start again having conversations or looking into possible courses, or just start reading the book. Maybe you want to attend to seminars, or you're attending to this live, so you are already doing something for you, at least to hear other opinions. And that's it. That's how you can stay connected. So I gave you the 5 subcategories. So I'll repeat for those who just joined. The first one, online design consultation. The second one, decor, look into decor, furniture stores, pottery barn, even what is the name of this store? City furniture. I'm talking about that level. So look for everything. Furniture dealers are another option. Fabric, flooring, carpet, brand reps, or you can be just a sub rep. And again, like I mentioned, usually those are business background hire, but after the pandemic, I think that's gonna change. And study. So those are the 5. I repeat it for those who just joined. And continuing the conversation, I want to tell you that pandemics are not new. We have had several pandemics, and I was not even born when those pandemics were, when those happened. And I researched a little bit of those. And so cholera. So when the cholera first came, it was horrible, but it left good positive changes, specifically on design. And that the cholera specifically influenced the street grid, and also they introduced the sewage system that requires the roads to be avowed, and to make them wider and straighter along the new zoning laws that we had after that. Then when the cholera returned again, cities like New York, Paris started developing urban design elements that we can now enjoy with those wide boulevards and parks, and those cities wouldn't be the metropolis that we know nowadays if they wouldn't have that change process after those pandemics. Tuberculosis, SARS, others. So you can Google. This is not about pandemic, this is about design, so I'm gonna keep rolling the ball. So I wish I have a magic stick, right? And I can see the future and say, tomorrow this is what's gonna happen, and this is the way design is gonna look, this is the way the spaces are gonna look. But unfortunately, I don't have a magic stick, and I don't think any of you have a magic stick. I can only share my experience as a humble millennial, my observations, common sense, and I know that new regulations are gonna come up. So this is what I'm gonna share. This is what I think could happen in design post COVID-19. Number 1, proximity design concept. If you are a designer, you know what is proximity. Proximity is when you group similar elements and you place it together. So let's say a group of similar chairs, lounge chairs in hotels, in hospitals, in restaurants. So that's a design concept. So you tend to group those to, that's a layout type of concept. So I don't think that that's gonna be that tempting anymore, at least for the next couple months. So number 2, occupancy loads in buildings, office spaces, meeting rooms, lifts, elevators. The minimum occupancy, or the maximum occupancy, I should say, is that number is gonna be revised, right? I really don't think I'm gonna go in a crowded elevator anymore. I prefer to take the stairs 10 times. So that's number two. Talking about materials. Let me just drink a little bit of water. Materials. So if we know that the virus live longer in porous surfaces, do we really want to step on carpet or any porous floor finish in hotel guest rooms? Do we even want carpet in our homes or offices? Let's think. I think that new carpets are to be determined. New technology, new finishes. But you know what? I really want to put my feet on the carpet when I wake up in the morning because it feels so warm and it feels good. And let's see. So to be determined, carpet. What about drapery in hotel guest rooms? What about the noise? If the virus will live on those draperies, I don't know, but we need to control the noise. Let's see. Cleanability. New challenges for finishes manufactured to make surfaces 100% cleanable or even self-cleanable. I want to see that. A finish that self-clean itself. I really want to, especially in cruise ship, I want to see that. And of course, let me add one. We want that finish to be sustainable because I am a designer and I want it all. So it has to be sustainable, self-cleanable, and of course, it has to do it all. So big challenges for finishes manufactured. In hotels. What about the communal tables in the public spaces? What about the communal table that promotes social interaction and collaboration? We, specifically the millennials, we love those communal tables. To go to Starbucks and sit on the communal table and start a random conversation with a random person. Do I really want to sit shoulder to shoulder with a strange coughing, sniffing in a hotel, in a Starbucks? I don't know. Maybe if I am wearing a N95, maybe that way. I guess. Okay, so yeah, so open office spaces. So sociopedal layouts. I started posting a little bit about it for you to understand if you're not a designer. So sociopedal layouts are the ones that promote social interaction and collaboration. And so I think that these are gonna be in a very, very, very big discussion. I really think so. Because we were getting into a point where the open office was the trend. No cubicles, everybody's collaborating in the same space, and not even a partition. I mean, in some point, I didn't have a partition with my coworker. So that's gonna be a very a discussion. So those 55 inches desk without a partition and to promote interaction and collaboration, I think that will now be in negotiation. It's either that or I don't know, right? Restaurants. So the circulation path of the food when it gets out of the pantry all the way to the table where that consumer is will also be in discussion. So what happened? Is it too long? Is it too open? So do we cover the food? We do that in cruise ship, but in the land-based projects, we usually they don't do that. So that's gonna be also a discussion. Um, Personal space and social space distances might be also revised. I posted the social distance uh, dimension, and it was between 4 feet and 8 feet. So I think that that's gonna be revised after this pandemic. Maybe a new regulation, maybe a different number, but that might be revised. Airport security checks, space layout. I think that will be rethink as well. Um, we are too close to each other when we are going through TCA. That line, people touching each other. Let's think about it. I think that's gonna be different. And last one, but not least, cruise ships. Let me tell you something funny. I actually asked my boss this afternoon in a WebEx call, tell me what do you think is gonna be different after COVID-19 in cruise ship design. And one of the things that she highlighted was that the self-serving. So we have those dining spaces like buffet style that now might be you have a person serving you. In terms of finishes, I think that we already have so many regulations and sanitary restrictions that I just feel that it's just gonna get stricter. It's just gonna get more and more and more and more. Um, I say challenging for the designers to find suitable finishes and that meets the standard. So that's what I kind of anticipate. To be honest, I have a list of spaces and design elements that I have envisioned and dream about how these will look like. And I could spend one more hour talking to you, brainstorming, asking you, and but I also heard that other designers in the industry are also talking about a specific project types, like in what's going to happen, what do they anticipate in hotels, in healthcare, in hospitals, in retail spaces, restaurants. So there's so many opinions. Everybody's anticipating and brainstorming on what's going to happen. The truth is that none of us can predict the future. We can only imagine. We could try to explore and study with prototypes. We can, try, test, and fail, and do it again, and that's what we could do. And at the end, design is just anticipation. So we designers are trained to think ahead of time and kind of predict the spaces and how the the guests and the people are gonna use these spaces. I asked to my followers that describe the new normal, and this is what you guys said. Virtual. Another person said distance. Pagans. Paranoid. Family. Peace. Cautious. Roller coaster. And this one is really funny. USPH in steroids. That was what one person said. Another poll that I did was that the result was that I have 72% of industry as my follower. 68% were affected by Judy. I see you laughing. I can imagine you laughing. 68% percentage were affected by COVID-19 somehow. Interior designers and architects, 69% are working from home, and 31% are were laid off. Let me see what else. 59 of my followers will prefer to stay in a hotel than an Airbnb. So hotels are still gonna be preferred over Airbnb. Recent graduates and students without job and internship, that's 75% of my followers. So that's a big number. 85% of my followers agree that design business is about people, and it's true. We design for people. 95% of my followers are frequent travelers, so woohoo, let's travel soon. 90% of my followers think that new design issues will arise due to COVID-19, and we have talked about it. 65% of my followers would rather specify a sustainable material or finish than a cleanable material. So again, even though we are going to that trend that everything needs to be cleanable, sustainability is always gonna be about that. Sustainability always gonna win, at least in the design industry. 65% of my followers would rather specify, that's what I said, a sustainable material. So again, these surveys look like silly when you see it on my stories, but at the end, they all make sense. So I think that this is gonna be very challenging times for the manufacturers that will have to offer both sustainable and cleanable materials. And I think that cleanability is gonna be a must, it's gonna be a requirement, and not only for educational and healthcare projects, but any kind of project. 73% of my followers still prefer to be in collaboration than alone. That's amazing. So even though of this pandemic, you still prefer to be in groups, even though wearing one of these little masks, and you prefer to be working together instead of isolated alone. 82% of my followers would rather be in a sociopetal space that promotes collaboration than a sociofugal space that avoids interaction. Again, these are results that are amazing for me and gives me hope, because even after this pandemic, we still would like to be collaborating, being with people, of course, taking all the precautions, but collaborating. Now I have selected two of the questions that two of you sent me ahead of time, and I'm gonna pick also two questions from you guys. So let me give you 1 minute, 2 minutes for you to ask me something if you need to. And in the meantime, I'm gonna thanks FIU Interior Architecture Department for promoting this live, for supporting me as an alumna. Thank you. I know I count on that community. Also IIDA for supporting me and for spreading the word in this conversation that I was going to have. And of course, Royal Caribbean has supported me and spread the word throughout in the design team and the new bill. So thank you so much. Let me see if I have questions here. If not, I'm gonna move forward to the questions that I have here. I'll give you a couple minutes. Let me read the first one here. So somebody asked, what will you think will be the biggest challenge for interior designer after COVID-19? Okay, I think that the biggest challenge is to have our mind open to do all the research that we need to do to understand each individual desire, each person, each situation. Not everything is gonna be the same. Not every project, not every condition is gonna be the same. So we need to take the time to research, to go further, to give an extra mile to make everything possible. Again, give me the client wants a sustainable project, but it needs to be cleanable. So let's work with the manufacturer to have a sustainable and a cleanable finish on that project. The client wants specific conditions in the workspace, so work with the client, work with with the needs, and understand. So do a lot of research, because things are gonna be different, things are gonna change in a good way, in a bad way. Again, we don't know, but it's gonna be different. Number two, second question. What are you doing to stay positive during all this virus craziness? I'm actually reading. I'm reading a lot, and I'm putting in place a lot of ideas, and I'm actually doing meditation that I have had postponed that because my baby was born and all that craziness happened. So I'm now back to meditating every day. So that's how I'm staying focused and try to think on a daily basis, day by day, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just taking it day by day. So I see a question here. Let me see. Yes, because that create a culture. No. How do you think COVID-19 will affect projects that have already been approved or just starting construction? I think that the client is gonna ask you to revise the plan, specifically the specifications and the furniture plan. I think that's what's gonna happen. So be ready for those ad services, because that's gonna come. Changes are gonna come, and you're gonna charge for those changes. So be ready, Jonathan. Okay. So I'm gonna start wrapping up if there's no more questions. Thank you all. Without you, I wouldn't be here talking. I will appreciate if you DM me or email me with any questions, comments, recommendation. Tell me what I did wrong. This is my first live. What I did, good, what you like, what you didn't like. I am here for design, and design is about people. So I am here for you. I hope you connect next week, and stay tuned for the next week topic. Thank you.